What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. You are not going to believe what Sophie Cunningham just did, because let me tell you something. Sophie Cunningham has officially gone scorched earth. She has lit the fuse, she has burned the bridge, she has thrown the gasoline and the match, and she does not care who sees it. She has just come out swinging in defense of Caitlin Clark in a way that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. And the entire WNBA is now on fire because of it. If you have not been following what has been going on with Sophie Cunningham and Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, you have been missing out on one of the most incredible storylines in all of professional sports right now. Because what Sophie Cunningham just did is the kind of thing that legends are made of. The kind of loyalty, the kind of bravery, the kind of straight up willingness to put your career on the line for a teammate that we just do not see anymore in modern sports. And fans are losing their minds. They are calling her a hero. They are calling her a queen. They are calling her the best teammate Caitlin Clark could ever ask for. And honestly, after what I have seen over the last few days, I am inclined to agree. So let me set the stage for you, because to really understand the magnitude of what Sophie Cunningham just did, you have to understand what has been happening to Caitlin Clark all season long. Caitlin Clark, the most important player in the history of women's basketball. The player who has single-handedly transformed the WNBA into a billion-dollar enterprise. The player who has put more eyeballs on this league than every other player in league history combined. That Caitlin Clark has been getting beaten up physically, mentally, emotionally. She has been the target of cheap shots, hard fouls, dirty plays, and outright disrespect from players around this league all year long. And the officiating has been a joke. Calls that would get whistled in any other league in any other sport are just being ignored. Players are being allowed to body Caitlin Clark in ways that no other star in any other league would ever be subjected to, and it has been infuriating to watch. But here is the thing, through all of it, Caitlin Clark has remained a professional. She has not complained publicly, she has not pointed fingers, she has not run to the media, she has just kept her head down, kept playing the game, and kept doing what she does best, which is being the most spectacular player on the floor every single night. But while Caitlin has been keeping her composure, there has been somebody behind the scenes who has not been keeping hers. And that somebody is Sophie Cunningham. And Sophie Cunningham has had enough. Now, let me tell you about Sophie Cunningham real quick, because some of you might not know her story. Sophie Cunningham is a Missouri girl. She is a tough, hard-nosed, take-no-nonsense kind of basketball player. She built her reputation in the WNBA as someone who is not afraid of anybody. She will get in your face. She will throw the elbows. She will take the charge. She will fight you in the parking lot if she has to. That is who Sophie Cunningham is. And when she got traded to the Indiana Fever, she made it very clear from day one that she was going to be Caitlin Clark's protector. She was going to be the enforcer. She was going to be the one that made sure that anybody who came after her star teammate was going to have to deal with her first. And she has lived up to that promise. She has gotten into shoving matches. She has gotten into verbal altercations. She has stood up for Caitlin time and time again. She has done it on the court. She has done it in press conferences. She has done it on social media. But what she did this week, that is on a whole different level. That is in a whole different stratosphere. That is something we have never seen before, because Sophie Cunningham did not just defend Caitlin Clark. Sophie Cunningham went after everybody. She went after the officials. She went after the league office. She went after rival players. She went after the media. She went after the entire ecosystem that she believes has been failing Caitlin Clark all season long. And she did it in such a public, such a loud, such an unmistakable way that there is no going back from it. She has burned bridges that cannot be unburned. She has made enemies that will not forget, and she did it knowing full well the consequences. That is what makes this so incredible. Now I want to walk you through some of what she said, because some of these moments you have to hear it to believe it. Sophie went on social media and she basically called out the entire WNBA officiating crew. She said, and I am paraphrasing here, that the way Caitlin Clark has been officiated this season is a disgrace. She said that no other star player in any other league would be treated the way Caitlin has been treated. She said that the league is going to look back on this season as one of the biggest officiating failures in professional sports history. And she did not stop there. She went after specific incidents. She went after specific calls. She went after specific players. She called people out by name. She did not hide behind vague generalities. She named names and she pointed fingers, and she did not flinch. And then in interviews with the media, she doubled down. She said that as Caitlin's teammate, it is her job to protect her. She said that as long as the league refuses to do its job, somebody has to do it. She said that if she gets fined, if she gets suspended, if she gets ostracized, she does not care. Because what is happening to Caitlin Clark is wrong. And somebody has to say it, and if nobody else is gonna say it, she is gonna be the one to say it. And let me tell you, when I heard those words, I got chills. Because that is what real teammates do. That is what real leaders do. That is what real warriors do. Now, of course, the reaction from around the league has been mixed. Caitlin Clark fans, they are going crazy. They are absolutely worshiping Sophie Cunningham right now. They are buying her jersey. They are showing up to games with signs supporting her. They are flooding her social media with love and support, and honestly, it is a beautiful thing to see because Sophie has put herself on the line for Caitlin, and now Caitlin's army is putting themselves on the line for Sophie. That is the kind of loyalty that just does not exist anymore in modern sports. That is the kind of brotherhood, the kind of sisterhood, the kind of bond that you only see in the truest, deepest, most genuine relationships. But the reaction from other parts of the league has been a lot less positive. We are hearing reports that the league office is furious. We are hearing reports that other players around the league have been griping privately about Sophie's comments. We are hearing reports that some of the analysts in the women's basketball media space have been trying to spin this as Sophie being out of line, being unprofessional, being a problem. And to all of that, I have one response. Who cares? Sophie Cunningham has made it crystal clear that she does not care what the league office thinks. She does not care what other players think. She does not care what the analysts think. The only thing she cares about is doing right by her teammates. And that, my friends, is exactly the kind of energy that this league has needed all year long. And here is the thing that I want everybody to understand. Sophie Cunningham is not doing this for attention. She is not doing this for clout. She is not doing this because she is trying to build her brand. She is doing this because she genuinely, truly, deeply cares about Caitlin Clark as a teammate and as a friend. You can see it in her eyes when she talks about her. You can see it in the way she gets emotional when she discusses what Caitlin has been going through. You can hear it in her voice when she answers questions in press conferences. This is real. This is genuine. This is two people who have formed a real bond, and one of them is willing to absolutely set her entire career on fire if that is what it takes to protect the other. And Caitlin Clark has noticed. We have seen her on the bench cheering for Sophie. We have seen her give Sophie those big hugs after big moments in games. We have seen her speak so glowingly about Sophie in her own press conferences. There is clearly a deep, profound mutual respect and affection between these two players. And it is the kind of partnership that championship teams are built on. It is the kind of partnership that defines eras. It is the kind of partnership that fans are going to remember for the rest of their lives. Now, let me talk about what this means for the Indiana Fever moving forward, because this is a big deal. The team now has a clear protector for Caitlin Clark. They have an enforcer. They have somebody who is going to make sure that Caitlin does not have to face this onslaught alone, and that is going to change everything. It is going to change the way other teams play against the Fever. It is going to change the way officials referee Fever games. It is going to change the way the media covers this team, because now everybody knows if you come after Caitlin Clark, you are going to have to deal with Sophie Cunningham. And nobody wants to deal with Sophie Cunningham, but it is also going to put pressure on the rest of the Fever roster, because if Sophie is willing to lay it all on the line for Caitlin, what is everybody else doing? Where are the other voices? Where are the other teammates standing up? Where is the coaching staff? Where is the front office? We have talked on this channel before about how the rest of the Fever organization has not been pulling its weight when it comes to supporting Caitlin Clark. And Sophie Cunningham has just put everyone else on notice. The bar has been raised, the standard has been set, and anybody who is not willing to meet that standard is going to be exposed. And let me tell you something else. Sophie Cunningham has just become one of the most popular players in the entire WNBA overnight. Her social media following has exploded. Her jersey sales are through the roof. Her merchandise is selling out. Every podcast, every YouTube channel, every sports talk show is talking about her. She has become a cultural phenomenon, and she did it not by being the best scorer or the best shooter or the most athletic player. She did it by being a great teammate, by being loyal, by being brave, by standing up for what is right. And that, my friends, is something the world desperately needs more of right now. Now, I want to address something that I have been seeing in the comments. I have seen some people saying that Sophie Cunningham is just trying to ride Caitlin Clark's coattails. that she is just trying to use Caitlyn's popularity to boost her own profile. And I want to say something to those people. You could not be more wrong. If Sophie Cunningham was just trying to ride coattails, she would be doing the safe thing. She would be playing nice. She would be staying quiet. She would be smiling for the cameras and saying nothing controversial. That is what coattail riders do. They are calculating. They are careful. They are quiet. But Sophie Cunningham is doing the opposite of that. She is putting her entire career at risk. She is making powerful enemies. She is risking fines, suspensions, and league discipline. She is risking being labeled as a problem, as a troublemaker, as somebody who is hard to deal with. And she is doing all of that because she cares, because she loves Caitlin Clark like a sister, because she believes in something bigger than her own personal success. That is not coattail riding. That is loyalty. That is courage. That is character. And anybody who cannot see the difference, does not understand basketball, does not understand teammates, and does not understand human beings. So what happens next? That is the big question. The league is going to have to respond somehow. They cannot let what Sophie Cunningham said just sit out there without some kind of acknowledgement. So either they are going to come down on her with fines and suspensions, which will only make her a bigger martyr and make Fever fans even more furious. Or they are going to actually start to address some of the issues she raised, which would be admitting that she was right, which is also going to be embarrassing for them. Either way, this is a no-win situation for the WNBA front office, and they have nobody to blame but themselves, because if they had been doing their job all season long, Sophie Cunningham would not have had to do this. But you know what? I have a feeling that Sophie Cunningham does not care what happens next. I have a feeling that she said what she said because she meant it, because she believed it, because it needed to be said, and whatever consequences come her way, she is ready for them. That is the kind of person she is, that is the kind of teammate she is, that is the kind of warrior she is, and Caitlin Clark could not have asked for a better person to have in her corner. So let me just say this in closing. To Sophie Cunningham, if you are watching this, thank you. Thank you for standing up. Thank you for speaking out. Thank you for being the teammate that Caitlin Clark deserves. Thank you for being the example that this league needs. You have earned a fan for life in everybody who watches this channel. And whatever happens next, just know that there is a massive army of basketball fans who are going to have your back the same way you have had Caitlin's back. We see you, we appreciate you, we love you, and we are going to ride for you for the rest of your career. And to Caitlin Clark, hang in there. We see what you are going through. We see the cheap shots. We see the disrespect, we see the bias, and we want you to know that we are with you every step of the way. You have a friend in Sophie Cunningham. You have a fan base of millions. You have an army of supporters that would do anything for you, and you are going to come out of this stronger, better, and more dominant than ever before. That is a promise. To the WNBA front office, do better, do your job, protect your stars. Officiate the games fairly, listen to your players, and stop making people like Sophie Cunningham have to do your job for you, because if you do not, the consequences are only going to get worse, and you do not want to find out what happens when fans really start to lose faith in this league. And listen, I want to talk to you about something else that I think is getting lost in all of this conversation, the bigger picture, because what Sophie Cunningham just did is not just about one player defending another player. It is about the entire culture of women's sports right now. We are at a pivotal moment. We are at a crossroads. The WNBA is more popular than it has ever been. There is more money flowing into this league than ever before. There are more eyeballs on these games than at any point in history, and the league has a choice. They can either embrace this moment, protect their stars, fix their officiating, and ride this wave into a golden era. Or they can keep doing what they have been doing, which is letting jealousy and mediocrity dictate how the most talented player in league history gets treated. And what Sophie Cunningham did is essentially force them to make that choice publicly. And that is huge. That is enormous, because the league has been able to hide behind vague statements and corporate speak for a long time. They have been able to deflect criticism. They have been able to point fingers elsewhere. But now, thanks to Sophie Cunningham, the issues are right out in the open for everybody to see, and there is nowhere to hide anymore. The whole world is watching, and the whole world is going to see exactly how the league responds. Are they going to do the right thing? Are they going to make the changes that need to be made? Or are they going to bury their heads in the sand and hope this all goes away? We are about to find out. I also want to point out something that I think is incredibly important. The fact that Sophie Cunningham is willing to do this for Caitlin Clark says a lot about Caitlin Clark as a person, because teammates do not stick their necks out like that for selfish players. Teammates do not put their careers on the line for people who do not deserve it. The fact that Sophie has been this bold, this willing to fight, this committed to her teammate tells you everything you need to know about the kind of person Caitlin Clark is in that locker room. She is loved. She is respected. She is the kind of teammate that other players will go to war for, and that is just as important as any of the basketball stuff, because championships are built on chemistry. They are built on culture. They are built on bonds like the one between Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, and the Indiana Fever now have that foundation. They just need to build the rest of the team to match it. That is going to do it for me today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you are new here, smash that subscribe button. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Are you Team Sophie Cunningham? Do you think she did the right thing? What do you think happens next? Let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and I will catch you in the next video. Stay loyal, stay loud, and keep supporting Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham. Peace out.